Shalom Lekulam. Today we're going to be talking about Yom Kippur strategies, a bit about being in Israel, training for myself with marathons coming up, but want to share some tips. Maybe I'll do a full video on Yom Kippur, but last night we had a siren and I was like, if a siren happens, I'm now doing YouTube, so let's document it. I could not function. And I find it really impressive, people who can just document everything, because I found it really challenging even just to get out of bed. It was like 12:30 and I went to sleep around 11:30 and I was in deep sleep. So my first 90 minutes to 2 hours, I'm very deep sleep, and then after that it gets a bit more lighter. So it was a very tough 20 minutes, but interesting to experience another siren at the middle of the night, because usually the last 4 or 5 have been in the daytime or in the evening, which is a lot more manageable. But when it's in the day, it's a bit more challenging. In the night it's a bit more challenging, and it did make me think, like, is there going to be one over Yom Kippur? I did a video yesterday going over the Yom Kippur War and how unfortunately this time of year there's a lot more challenges, but of course we are coming up to October 7th as well, so hopefully everything is safe and everyone can take part of Yom Kippur for the reasons for Yom Kippur and actually be able to repent, and the things we do for Yom Kippur, not do we have to be in shelter all day whilst fasting. That will be a challenge. Now with my marathon training, it's quite interesting because I actually haven't done much research. The last few years in Yom Kippur, my goals have always been like bodybuilding and other things, so it's never really been running marathons. But because there's 2 marathons coming up and I'm being so strict with my schedule, I need to be more tactical with my Yom Kippur plans. So it just means that the food I have before and after are suitable for feeling better the next day, because we've all been there where we just munch so much post Yom Kippur, and within 5 minutes you feel so ill and you just feel groggy for the next 24 hours. That's what I don't want. Even though I just want chocolate, I want crisps, because I love crisps. I think out of everything, crisps are the best snack, because you can have chocolate, but after 2 pieces you're like, I've got the taste. You can feel it. With crisps I can just munch. I love crisps, but I know the crisps aren't the healthiest thing to have for marathon, all in moderation. So it's going to be a very tactical dinner beforehand, lots of carbs, lots of protein, pretty much anything beforehand because you got the fast, but then afterwards it's just making sure you eat clean, and it's not about eating clean, it's just having full foods like bread, like just pasta, like nothing too sugary. I think that is the best thing. And I think obviously with tips, one thing I want to focus on now is really reducing your spice intake. So if you have spicy food, just stop having spicy food, okay, for a few days, and you'll save yourself a bit more ease. Secondly is your caffeine intake. Now caffeine intake is a tough one because you can reduce it to help you. I think if you have caffeine 3-4 cups a day and you reduce it to 1 and 2, you're still probably going to have withdrawals. But I do think it makes it simple. So either increase your decaf load, reduce your caffeine intake, or just, if you can have a slight bit less than you usually would do in some aspect, if that's like a shot less, if that's maybe having more milk, so having an opportunity to make it less strong, that would be helpful massively. And then I think fried food as well. We want the day to be as easy as possible for you, so you can focus on what's important that day. I don't think fried food for the next few days is going to be helpful because it'll just mess up your stomach, and that's the important thing. So those 3 things, it will make it more meaningful. Well, not meaningful, there's always a line that I don't cross when it comes to Yom Kippur giving tips to my clients, because I'm not a rabbi, and that day isn't let's drop body fat. It's not let's get shredded. Young Paul not eating today. That isn't what today is about. So I've always felt very careful with the advice I give, because my advice is, well, if someone wants to drop body fat, then I'm going to advise to drop body fat, where actually, realistically, the day isn't for body fat, it's to repent and all that stuff. So I think whenever I create content about Young Paul, you have to listen, but also listen to your rabbi before me. And that's when I'm like, okay, I can't speak on behalf of the rabbi, please listen to your rabbi, ask them for advice if they want. And of course, if it is, that's why I go with making the fast more manageable rather than let's fast body fat, because I don't like that, because that's not what it's for, Ethically, I've got to be very careful, But yeah, so after, I'm actually very excited. Well, I'm not excited at all. Let's context, please. I'm not excited for the fast. That's not what it's about. I'm excited to see how my body reacts to the fast and if I'm more fatigued, because I'm going to run the morning of, not the fast, so the fast starts at 5 or 6. I'm going to run that morning, see how I feel, nothing too light, and then I'm not going to run after the fast. I don't think that's sensible, because I'll be so full, so it makes no sense. But I'm going to run the day after, so that it will be Friday, and it's actually, my miles is very low this week, running wise, because I normally try and get around 20 to 30 miles running each week. It's Tuesday already, I've not run today. It's Monday already, not run today. Tomorrow, I'm going to be got an interview and then going to kibbutz. I'll run tomorrow night. But yeah, so, and then obviously we have Wednesday and Friday with the fast, so it'll be really mentally challenging this week of training, which I actually just really thought about right now on this YouTube. But yeah, to recap, less spice, try and drop your caffeine intake. I say I'm going to drop my caffeine intake, but am I really going to drop my caffeine intake? I probably will 100% the Wednesday morning. Yes, Wednesday morning I definitely will. Tomorrow, Tuesday, maybe. I'm definitely reducing my spice. No fried food, that's very important. But I'm like, caffeine. But, I think I'm pretty fine with caffeine withdrawals. I sometimes do days where I just completely forget to have coffee. And it's actually usually the days that's like a Shabbat. So I've had days where on Shabbat where I've literally had one coffee or half a coffee and I haven't thought about it. So that's kind of similar. But we'll see. I won't be able to document on the day because I'm not someone who posts online on Young Paul. I don't. It's the only day that I really don't post online because it's not for me to post about. I think it's more meaningful things. I don't cycle. I know being in Israel for Young Paul is meant to be this amazing thing, and it is in regards to everything's shut. But I have no energy. I'm like, how do people have all the energy to cycle? And I'm like, I wish I had that, but I'm struggling because I eat so much food for my marathon training. I have so much electrolytes for marathon training, so much water. It's not a good. It's such a challenge fasting. That's why I just want to kind of do as little movement as possible, which to make it more manageable. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Thank you very much for listening. And what's the next video going to be? I think I actually have a few videos I've not actually edited yet. Well, my edit is literally one cut, which I need to post because I actually am going to do a video about tomorrow in regards to, not at the moment, you know what, you'll see. If you're watching this video today, you'll see. If you're watching it in a few weeks, you'll see the video. It'll be quite a meaningful video.